Hello, and it is time for some multiplication. All right, with this multiplication review, we're just going to kind of think back to what we learned last week. So what I'm going to do first off is I'm just going to put a multiplication equation up here. All right, so I've got this multiplication equation. Now let's think back to last week. We are talking about groups and how many are within each group. Remember, we can look at this as 3 times 4. We can also look at this as 4 times 3. A lot of that's going to depend on what you feel more comfortable with. Now remember, if we are thinking about this as 3 groups of 4, one thing we might want to do is I can just do some dots, and you can do that with your pencil and paper. 3 groups of 4, so I could make a group of 4 red, a group of 4 oranges, and a group of 4 greens. Now in doing that, we could then have 4 plus 4 plus 4. So we have 3 4s, just like we've got up here, 3 groups of 4, 3 times 4. Now 4 plus 4 is going to get us 8, and again I love these little math trees, and then 8 plus 4, that is going to get us to 12. Now another way to think about this, and I want you to really consider, is which facts you know best. Now eventually you are going to learn your multiplication facts. You'll do that in 3rd grade, and you're going to get to know them just like you know those addition and subtraction facts. But in the time being, we really want to think about these. Now if we think about this the other way as 4 times 3, or 4 groups of 3, I could give myself 3 reds, I could give myself 3 oranges, I could give myself 3 greens, and 3 blues. Now the benefit of doing this is, think back to some of our earliest lessons that I've done with you, odd and even. 4 is an even number, so we have an equal number of groups. That way everything becomes a double. Think about your math facts. Those doubles are always easiest. 1 plus 1, 2 plus 2, 3 plus 3. Doubles are always easier. You guys know those so fast. By going with 4 groups of 3 and thinking about this as a reverse, well, 3 plus 3 is 6. There's a double. Another 3 plus 3 is 6. And then the same thing, 6 plus 6, and that gets us to 12. Obviously, the answer is going to be the same. That's the great thing about multiplication, is we can just reverse those. So I really want you to focus on that idea of looking at what makes sense for you the most. And I honestly think finding, especially if you're multiplying something times 2, times 4, times 6, you can use that doubles knowledge a lot better. Sometimes having more groups of something is difficult, so you might just really need to think about what works best for you. This is an example of that. Let's say I had 3 times 8. Now, in thinking about 2 ways to do this, we could do 3 times 8. We could do 8 times 3. So I could, let me make this a little bigger, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8 reds. Now the great thing here is we can use that doubles knowledge, and 8 plus 8 is 16, and then just add the 8 more onto that. Now if I go the other way with it, we're going to have a lot more groups. But the benefit is there's 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you notice right away, hopefully, one of the things I did is I kind of made these almost into mini groups of 2. So we have our 3 and our 3. Well, when we add those together, we are obviously going to get 6. So if this 3 and 3 is 6, we know that these two are going to be 6 because it's 3 plus 3. 3 plus 3 is going to be 6. 3 plus 3 is going to be 6. So again, I am going and I'm making these into doubles. Now, some of you might decide, okay, it's a lot easier for me to work with doubles, and that is just fine. Some of you else might go, I'd rather have less groups and more in each group, and then I can do a double and get to 16 and then add 8 more to get to my 24 that way. It's really going to be what you're most comfortable with, really looking at those numbers. Now, one other thing we want to look at is when we have a number, let's say we have 6 times 5, okay? Hopefully right now, as you're thinking about that, you're going, wait a minute. They're groups of 5. Okay, so I've got 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. I've got 6 5s. Now, of course, you could see this as there's 10, and these two together are 10. And remember, I'm just going with the idea of multiplication is, yes, extended addition. And there's the 10s there. Here's my 20 plus 10 to get to that 30. But hopefully you recognize, and you're saying, Mr. T, that's a lot of work. Really what I could have done is just count by 5s 6 times. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And hopefully you recognize that. And you were counting by 5 6 times. Some of these you're going to need to work out on paper. Some of them you're going to start to just recognize faster ways to do that. And when you take the quiz next, that is something you can work on. Good luck.